Hi guys, I think it's time for the next oil change on this 2020 X3M competition. We already changed the oil in it once at 5,000 miles. And so now, I think it's pretty close to 10,000. Let me see here. Yeah, 9964. So that's close enough for me. Let's do oil change number 2. Hi YouTube, Indian Boy 100. Today's video is going to be another oil change on the 2020 X3M competition. Yes, I already did a video on this, but the reason I'm doing another video is because I've developed a really cool set of tools that I think will make it a lot easier for a lot of people to do this oil change. Yes, I will show you the rest of the oil change, even though I have it in another video, but the primary focus of this video is to show you my cool little tool setup that I think will make it a lot easier. So let me go change my shirt, we'll head down to the shop, and I'll show you what I got. To gain access to the oil filter, it's a lot easier if you remove this one vacuum line that's in the way. To remove it, you simply depress these tabs on either side. There's one on this side and one on the other side. You have to depress both of those tabs and then just pull straight off on both sides to remove this vacuum line. That will give you better access to the oil filter. Once you've released the tabs, simply remove the hose. Alright guys, here are the magical tools. I'm going to take this thing apart. Here's my little setup. Let you see the whole thing. Alright, here's the whole thing. Now I want to show you each part. So the main piece, of course, is this socket right here. So this is the big boy, 32 millimeter. Okay, this is 32 millimeters, and this guy, it fits right down in there on top of that nut on the top of the oil filter housing. And this guy works great. Now, different people can work better with different setups. This is just the setup that I have, and I'll show you each piece. Now, this is a swivel, and it's like round, so it moves. So it makes it easy for you to get, at whatever angle you can best get at after you remove that one vacuum tube. Okay, I showed you the vacuum tube. Remove that first, you don't break it. And then I use this little round universal socket. This one's 3/8, just a regular 3/8 socket, round. Okay, so that's what I put directly into my 32 millimeter, so that I can, kind of move it around and get it on the top of that housing. Then I have like a little short, and this is where it becomes up to you. I have different size, different length extensions. I have short, I have medium, I have long. I even have super long in there. I use a different combination of these, and of course, finally, a ratchet on top of that. And all you have to do is break it, you crank it, and then you can take it loose by hand with your ratchet, or of course, I have the cordless ratchet that I use. I cheat with that, and it works out really great. But hopefully this helps somebody. This works out great for me, and here's my secret. Now, you don't have to take anything else loose other than the little vacuum tube that I showed you. Do not have to take that entire intake cover off. Some people say you have to take the intake cover off. You do not. And it doesn't even make it that much easier. But you don't have to take that off. That's a completely unnecessary process. I don't advise you do it. Do it if you want, but you don't have to do it. Okay? You get this little setup right here. You get your 17 millimeter for the drain plug underneath. And these are all the tools you really need. Of course, you need to replace the oil filter cartridge, and of course, replace the oil. But beyond that, this little setup here is so far is the best that I can come up with. Now, if I come up with something even better, you know me, I'll make another video. Okay, if you get under the car, there's a little cover, a round cover, and you move that cover, you can get to the nut to drain the oil right here. You just turn it and take it off just like that. You go up inside here and you loosen this nut or this bolt right here. Okay, so take that off, we'll drain the oil, and we'll go back up top side. Time to take the 17 millimeter off. There we go. Juicy. Okay, so here we go. I just ended up using my long extension and the socket and just the universal, the round universal joint. That's all I really used in this particular case. And I stick my hand down there. I'll show you. I just stick my hand down like this, and then about that far, okay, and put it on manually. Just put it on top of there, and then it just stays. It's on the nut right now. It's on that nut on top of that housing right now, and it's just sitting there. Okay, and I just take it off, remove the filter, put the new filter in, and the filter only goes one way, so you can't do it wrong. And then just, of course, refill your oil. Don't forget to put your oil in. And that's it. So, just main point of this video was to show you how easy it is to do it without removing this cover. You do not have to remove any of that. Just go down there, take that nut off, and change your oil. Okay, turn this off. So once you get it loose by hand or by cordless, you can easily reach it with your hand. Just go down in there, and this is where it's important to take this little guy loose, so you have room to get the filter out. By letting the oil drain first too, you don't have a whole lot of drip, just a tiny bit. And I found it easiest to put each piece on first individually. By that I mean when I go down inside that compartment, I take my hand down off in there and I put this on first. Okay, then I go down in there and I fit this next, like that. Then I take my wrench and I do it. And it's so tight that you can't really do it like that until you break it by hand first. But once it's done, whoop, comes right off. So I hope this helps somebody. And I think this is the best I can do on this one. So I'm gonna put the new filter in, fill her up with oil, and she can drive it tomorrow. All right, here goes the new one. Ta-da! Pretty easy, and I just do it by hand. You have to put the filter in first because there's not enough room. You put the filter in first over that little guide, and you have to turn it, you have to rotate it until this goes down off into a little hole. So you just feel around, and it only really goes one way. When you go to put your oil filter back in, there's a spout that this part of the filter lines up with, and it sticks up above the other pieces. It's also spring loaded. I'll try to show that to you now. So you make sure to line this up in that hole first before you push the filter on down to screw it in to the threads. One way. So let's go on in here. Fill around, and let me see if I can. Ah, there we go. And it just snaps in. You gotta give it a little bit of a push until the click. It snaps in. Same with this. This is gonna snap on and then screw on. And as you tighten it, it just snaps itself onto the filter. So the threads are nice and stiff. So you wanna, it's kind of, there's no slop. It's stiff the whole time. I do it mostly by hand, and then I give it a nice little tweak at the end with the socket, just to make sure it's. But I don't want it too tight. And so you can just leave this on too, and just put these two on at the same time. But I like to make sure it's seated. Yeah, nice. That's how deep it is. And I'll get the wrench. And I do that by hand. Even though I use the cordless ratchet, I never use the power feature for tightening, because you can use this tool manually as well. So the only way I might use it is just to get it in, get it lined up like that. Because these work manually as well as with power. I know people like to see these, so I'll let you see at least one. Here we go. Yummy, yummy. Just so you know I didn't forget. All right, so to do the complete fill, I added 7 liters. And so now we're going to go ahead and check after you warm up the engine to see where the level is. All right, I've run the vehicle for a little bit of time, but it's not been enough to actually check the level of the oil, but you can check the status. So I'll show you 2 methods to check the engine oil. So we're at home right now, which is fine. We want to go to my vehicle, so we'll select that. And we want to check vehicle status. Select that. And we want to check the oil. So it's already on oil, so it's telling you engine oil level is okay. Now if I wanted to actually measure it to see if it's 3/4 full or half full or completely full, you would go measure engine oil. But because it's not hot enough, it takes about 30 minutes for the engine to get hot enough to check the engine oil level. It'll give you this message. I'll show you. So measure only possible after long drive, approximately 30 minutes with engine turned on. Correct result only obtained when parked and on level ground. Select N or P. Do not depress accelerator. Start measure. So if I start to measure now, I don't think it's hot enough. And it'll tell you, no, it's not hot enough. So you have to let the engine run long enough to do that. So I'll let it run for a bit, and then I'll actually show you the engine oil measuring process. While I wait for it to warm up so I can check the oil, I washed it. So now I'm drying it. Yes, it's nighttime. Work during the day, play at night. All right, it's been 30 minutes. Let's go ahead and check this oil. It should check it just very easily. So let's start from home, go to vehicle status. Oil, it's already there. We're gonna go measure. Gives us 2 options, cancel or start. We wanna start, so here we go. The engine will rev a little bit, and it will start the percent checked. Cut down the percent to up to 100%. And then when it gets there, if you look over on the right hand side, there will be a bar that tells you what the measure is. 90%, here we go, on a countdown like New Year's. And cue music. So it looks like we're at 100%. We did put the right amount of oil in. We're good to go. Go back to home. and you're good until your next oil change. That should do it.